Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Eimear McKeown. Today's top stories. The candidates for the Waterford constituency in the general election have been confirmed. The Navy have taken over the operation to recover missing Wexford fisherman Whelan. The World Health Organization is meeting this afternoon to decide if the coronavirus outbreak is a global emergency. And in sport, supporters are advised to pre-purchase tickets for Sunday's National Hurling League opener between Waterford and Cork at Walsh Park. 11 candidates have been confirmed for the Waterford constituency in the general election. Returning officer Neil Rooney has published the notice of poll. WLR's Sinead Ahern has more.
There's no last-minute additions or withdrawals to the list of candidates in Waterford. Voters in Waterford will have 11 to choose from on February the 8th. They are Mary Butler of Fianna Fáil, Dr Ronan Cleary of Aintu, Sinn Féin's David Cullinan, John Cummins of Fine Gael, Una Dunphy's Solidarity People Before Profit, Damien Geoghegan of Fine Gael, Eddie Mulligan Fianna Fáil, Mark O'Cahasig the Green Party, Bernadette Phillips Independent, John Pratt Labour and Matt Shanahan Independent.
Micheál Martin has ruled out going into coalition with Fine Gael after the election. Leo Varadkar has said he'd be open to the idea if it was the only way to form a government. Our political correspondent Sean Defoe reports.
During the first debate of the election campaign last night, the Taoiseach Leo Varadkar said he could see a coalition between his party and Fianna Fáil.
It's not my preference, but if it's the only way that we can form a stable government in this country, I'm willing to work with Fianna Fáil, whether that means a constant supply arrangement or whether it means coalition.
But this morning, Micheál Martin said it's not something that's on the agenda for his party.
We will not be entering into a grand coalition. The people want change. It's very clear the message we're receiving. People want change in this country. They want Fine Gael out of office.
That means Martin has now ruled out working with either Fine Gael or Sinn Féin in terms of a coalition after the election. The other big talking point from last night's debate has been drugs, with many politicians, including Kate O'Connell, Thomas Byrne, Fiona O'Loughlin, Jack Chambers and Pippa Hackett, asked if they'd taken drugs.
When I was in university, I smoked some cannabis, but I've never taken a chemical synthetic drug.
I haven't anyway.
I haven't.
No.
I was at university in the 1990s, and I would have smoked some cannabis.
Recreational drug use has become an issue after the Taoiseach's comments last night and as political parties debate how to tackle the gangs that the drug trade fuels.
The Navy have now taken over the operation to recover a missing fisherman off the southeast coast. Whelan was the skipper on the Elise vessel that went down off Hook Head earlier this month. Yesterday, volunteer divers located his body in the wreckage of his boat, but it has yet to be recovered. Diving officer with the Hook Sub Aqua Club, Martin Murray, explains more about what happened yesterday.
Yesterday morning, we conducted a dive to the Elise and the two divers went down to a depth of 50 to 52 metres and on inspection of the boat discovered the body of Mr. Whelan.
The World Health Organization is meeting this afternoon to decide if the coronavirus outbreak is a global emergency. It's killed 17 people in China, infected hundreds and has 2 cities on lockdown. Here at home, a patient was brought into Dublin's Mater Hospital with a suspected case of the virus, but it was quickly ruled out. George Goodwin, an American teacher based in the affected city of Wuhan, says he'll stay indoors for now.
We have food, we have water, we have electricity, so I have all the essentials that I need. There's been a call to avoid public places, shopping malls, markets, and being in my apartment would probably give me a little cabin fever, but would otherwise be the safest place to be.
Waterford Older People's Council says none of the political parties are listening to older people when it comes to the state pension. The government is set to increase the pension age from 66 to 67 in 2021 and then to 68 in 2028. However, many private sector companies force people to retire at 65, meaning many retirees are forced to sign on for the dole until they're eligible for the state pension. Marion O'Mara of Waterford Older People's Council told Damien Tiernan on Daisha today, that choice is necessary.
We don't necessarily want the retirement age to be brought back to 65 and you can't work beyond 65. There are plenty fantastic people doing great work and contributing hugely. What we are asking for is those who are contractually obliged to leave their jobs at 65 years of age, they should not be penalised by the government, because a lot of those people would be people who would have maybe 40 years plus experience, maybe in the one job, paying their taxes for that period of time, and why should they become second-class citizens?
A County Waterford GP says we're well on our way to ending up like the UK, with 3-week waits to see family doctors. It comes as plans are in place to extend free GP care to children under the age of 13 in the coming years. Austin Byrne from Tremor Medical Clinic says we're still not training enough GPs.
10 years ago we trained about 120 GPs a year, now we're training about 190 to 200, and that is going to ramp up incrementally over the next few years. The reality is the HSE's own forecasts for the numbers of doctors that we need doing what we currently do without any additional rollout or extension or sláinte care, we would need to be training about 400 a year. Because for every doctor we train, about a quarter leave the country. If we improve conditions, we can expect to retain about 85%, but you'll always have a natural attrition.
Aldi is recruiting 16 staff in Waterford. It's part of a nationwide recruitment of 550 new employees in 2020. The opportunities available in Waterford include store assistant, assistant store manager and store manager roles across 6 stores. The supermarket giant says it will roll out the new living wage to its staff on the 1st of February. That's €12.30 per hour. In the UK, Boris Johnson's Brexit withdrawal deal is due to be given royal assent today and become law in the coming days. The controversial agreement finally passed through Parliament last night, 3.5 years after the vote to leave the EU. The Queen will sign it into law. But Ed Davey, acting leader of the Liberal Democrats, says the government still has work to do.
They've still got a massive amount of negotiations to do. So Brexit isn't done in the sense that we haven't seen the final result of those negotiations. We're clearly leaving, but could we leave with a no deal, which would be so disastrous for people's jobs and people's livelihoods in the whole country? We still don't know that yet.
A Waterford motor dealer says the government's plans for electric vehicles are wildly optimistic. The target is to have 1 million electric vehicles on our roads by 2030. However, motor dealer George Corbett doesn't think this is doable.
Electric vehicles are coming, there's no doubt about that. When we're ready for them is an entirely different matter. Last year, the market in Ireland was broken down as follows. Petrol vehicles represented 40%, diesel cars represented 46%, electric vehicles represented 3%. Now, there's an ambition to have 1 million electric cars on the road by 2030. That's not doable, that's not feasible, it's wildly over-optimistic. So that won't happen.
WLR Sport.
And a very good afternoon, I'm Gavin, Whelan. Starting with soccer, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says he has to hold his hands up and admit that Manchester United's performance was not good enough in their 2-0 loss to Burnley. It was the Clarets' first win at Old Trafford since 1962, and United are now 11 points worse off in the Premier League than at this stage last season. United have lost 3 of their last 4 games, and Solskjaer knows that things need to change quickly.
It's down to me to get these boys going. It's up to the players to understand we're representing, and we're privileged to represent, the best and the biggest club in the world. And it's a duty every single day, on and off the pitch.
Leaders Liverpool can go back 16 points clear at the top of the table tonight with victory away to Wolves. Even that one kicks off at 8 in Molineux. Watford go to Tranmere this evening, looking to seal a tie with Manchester United in the 4th round of the FA Cup. The Premier League team are at the League One strugglers for a 3rd round replay. Glenn Whelan is reportedly close to joining League One side Fleetwood Town. The 36-year-old Republic of Ireland midfielder is a free agent since being released by Hearts earlier this month. Gaelic Games next supporters are advised to pre-purchase tickets for Sunday's Alliance National Hurling League opener between Waterford and Cork in Welsh Park. County Board Treasurer John Jackson says that fans can save €5 by buying their tickets in advance.
Admission on the day is €20 and €15. €20 for adult, €15 concession for student and senior citizens. But if people purchase their tickets between now and the weekend, they can get a reduction of €5 on the adult ticket. They can purchase them in Central Super Value online or whatever the case may be, for €15, so there's a saving of €5. On the day there will be ticket booths open at the players' entrance on Keens Road, Slieve Road at the city end, and also then at the ticket office at the roundabout at the bottom of Keens Road, the junction with Slieve Road.
Throw-in is at 2 o'clock. WLR will broadcast the game live thanks to George Corbett-Skoda with Kieran O'Connor and Fergal Hartley, your commentators. To news of Gaelic football next, and the Waterford senior football captain says they have a burning desire to gain promotion this season. The Day should begin their Division 4 campaign on Saturday night with a home clash against Limerick. Conor Murray from the county champions Rathcormac will lead the Waterford footballers this season.
Yeah, the lads went back training there around the end of October, and Benji down below and his management team have been putting the lads through their paces, where I think it's the fittest we've been at this time of the year in a long time. And you have to be like, Division 4 is our championship. We're not going to win Sam Maguire. We want to get out of Division 4 and we can build on it from there.
And the action in Fairfield is underway at 7. We'll have updates here on WLR. Ballymacarbery defender Karen McGrath will captain the Waterford ladies football team for 2020. Kieran Kern's side start life in Division 1 away to Galway and Currafin on Sunday at 2 o'clock. It's their first top flight game in 13 years after gaining promotion from Division 2 last season. And the Dacia manager is looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, look, we're delighted, Gavin. It's an exciting time to be looking forward to the first Division 1 match in a number of years. So, yeah, look, we spoke about it last year, and that's what we wanted to get. We want to get to Division 1 and play against the best teams. It'll be really challenging. But look, it's in that environment that you learn the most, and that hopefully you can continuously improve. So, yeah, really exciting times, Gavin, and we're really looking forward to Sunday now.
IT Carlow football manager Pat Critchley says his team are relishing the chance to play their first ever Sigerson Cup final. They defeated Michael Murphy's Letterkenny IT 2-9-19 last night to set up a decider against DCU next week. And at racing, Willie Mullins and Gordon Elliott will both saddle 6 runners in this afternoon's Goffs Thyestes Chase, the big one up there in Goran Park. They're among the pre-race favourites, with the 3 miles 1 furlong contest set to go to post at 3 o'clock. The going is currently soft to heavy at the Kilkenny track, with the opening race gone to post in the past half hour. That's the latest on WLR. More at 2.